If they get the hook, that's the green light go. Go and shut down the rest of it.
Well, if nothing else, I mean, Hammers is going, so they run quite a bit with Snizzlenose on the Roadhog, where he plays it quite a bit. And when you do play Roadhog as much as someone like Snizzle does, you do get the experience for where to get early hooks to stop a push. And immediately they pull in D.Va, trying the demecker, and just barely she avoids that fate.
I feel like Roadhog's nickname in elementary school was probably Snizzlenose. It just seems like the perfect name for a Roadhog anyway. So that early hook did come on, but they were able to get out of that situation alive. Now going to back up a little bit. Really, the next thing you want to look at here on the defense is what does the Winston do? Does he go back or forward? If he goes forward, that means they're going to be aggressive, but he's just kind of waiting to get the overtop cleave and car wash.
The defense is being relatively passive here. They're giving up the first part mostly for free after that hook did not work out. And at some point, they will have to engage. Toronto, though, they're going to take more of the initiative here. They're diving in first and pushing back Hammers. They trade out even on, and now 5 versus 5, Hammers is going to have to bring the fight right back to them, and they do. Fisher now diving in, plenty of room, but it's very even right now, Max.
It's the guy we mentioned, is Jaro. There was a blade that comes out from Fisher, though, and he's going to get a lot of work done late in this fight, even with a low health pool. Onigod's still there to take him down. It is both the flankers on the cart trying to finish this out. Jaro did exactly what we expected in taking down Nesh early on as a 76, but since that kill came so early, Nesh able to get back reinforcements in favor of the defense, and despite the back and forth nature of that fight, offense is going to have to go back to the drawing board.
That fight was on a razor's edge. If just one more kill had gone the way early on there from Toronto, they very well could have broken through Hammers. I think Hammers was a little bit sluggish in their engage, but they get away with one.
The interesting thing is, Fisher used his Dragon Blade in last fight. Jaru saved his. He's going to have it for this next fight.
Exactly, and what Jaru does here is going to be very interesting to watch, especially if he can get to the high ground, use the blade, and pierce through. They're already down to Lucio, though, but here comes Jaru. The Dragon Blade is out, and he's looking for blood in the back, and it connects. Shaz is out of the fight. 2-1 in favor of Toronto, and they are going in.
Late Transcend will come on the card, keep everyone nice and healthy. Now the Discord Orb onto the D.Va as she's trying to stall out. Not going to be enough. Still a little bit of pressure from the backline. Somehow Snow goes down to that Lucio, and that's enough damage for him to land a Sound Barrier to continue to stall out.
Oh, self-destruct goes in. That's a nice one coming in from Note there, and Toronto eSports keeping up the pressure, although at the same time, Hammers is delaying this very well. Enough time for Fisher to come up the blade. Has one so far, looking for more. Not going to do much versus Cynic, and Toronto eSports finally muscling their way in and getting this first point here on Gibraltar.
Will eventually crack it, and because of some of those spawn timings, Christopher and Tomsy both have to donate their life to the Human Fund on the cart, charging up those ultimates. Sprint spawns do not really come in. This is the Tracer Onigot, I think, cleaning up the last remnants of that previous fight when things were getting down to it. And Tracer is so good at the cleanup crew there, the mobility and the high burst from her.
No doubt about it. Toronto eSports trying to keep the momentum, but a nice leap coming in from the defense here, going to put Jaru out of the fight relatively early on and gives Hollywood Hammers a chance to reestablish. They certainly have the numerical advantage here. They have the power advantage here on the payload. And I look at Toronto, Note, someone in a rough situation, just looking for a swift death.
Yeah, well, this is great for Hammers, though, to be able to stabilize here. We always mention that the defense needs to win one fight, otherwise this stage can go extremely poorly for them. They did luck out a little bit and not get the split spawns, so they had mostly a full advantage there. Did have to donate lives to get back in the spawn, but it was the right choice to try to reset there. Now it becomes much more difficult for the offense to move in, pick one of 4 tiny doors, and hope to not eat shurikens on their way in.
Hammers is in a decent spot here for this next defense. Not only do they have the self-destruct to at least zone out Toronto or get kills outright, but they have the nano boost, and Toronto doesn't have a whole lot for themselves here. They can initiate with the sound barrier and try and layer the self-destruct, but it's rough. And losing Onigot that early on, that makes it even tougher to get a foothold here. So I'd expect more of a full reset coming out here from Toronto.
Yeah, they're trying to retreat. Actually, really nice defense. This is kind of an odd place for the defense to hold. They're holding right up in front of these doors. Oftentimes in second stage, you're holding back in the shuttle or on the shuttle. They just don't even want to let them in the room.
Well, here's the thing. Snizzle went out a little bit too far, got himself demech. Toronto eSports now with a very good opportunity to bring this back. I would look at Jaro here. The Dragon Blade is up, and the Sound Barrier can help him out. There's the Baron, a nice self-destruct. Takes down 2 in the back, and Jaro free the dash into the back line. Doesn't even need to bring the blade. That's going to be 4-0 for Toronto eSports. Very much set up by Note.
It's one of the difficult parts about holding that far forward. You're out in the open. The self-destruct's going to find a nice angle. You can't just hide into the shuttle or into pack room there and get out of sight lines of that. That opens up the self-destruct.
Well, here's the thing. Hollywood Hammers can come right back in. They have ults to turn the tide, and they do have the time to get back in. So here we see them right now, getting back onto the payload, and here comes Fisher. The Dragon Blade is out, looking to equalize here early on. I mean, Trouble, though, getting bopped around by Cynic, who's in Primal Rage, and it's Chopper with Blade of his own, strikes into the back line, and Toronto eSports able to hold Hammers back, keep their positioning on the payload, and though there's a bit of stall coming in right now, it's looking very good for Toronto as the exclamation point comes right in from Onigod.
2 tanks with a Pulse Bomb is a trade that you'll take any day of the week. You'll take damaging a tank with a Pulse Bomb. That's how invaluable it can be sometimes. Great for those picks, but also comes up so quickly that you have no problem just using it to throw down a little bit of damage. Not the stall out that they were looking for there. It was an odd defense, just where they were positioning, and then once you lose a fight in the position they lost it in, it's so hard to get in a good position again. Not utilizing the high ground, simply giving it up.
So even though Hollywood Hammers should be able to stabilize in this next fight if they initiate sound barrier well, this is a very good time for Toronto eSports. They're going to have at least about 2 pushes left after this one if they manage their time right. And this fight getting delayed out pretty heavily. I'm not entirely sure where Toronto is going with this here just yet, but if Hollywood Hammers isn't careful, this could go rough. Finally, they use the sound barrier to try and secure this out, but Toronto was able to build one of their own, so now this fight more in question. The self-destruct comes into the back line. Both teams still a full 6v6 despite all the skirmishing, but finally, Toronto breaking through, they demex Snizzle, and now they have an opportunity to take this even further.
They're playing an aggressive defense, but it's kind of half-hearted. They're going a little bit aggressive. They're trying to chase kills, and they had to use that sound barrier just to keep people alive who were going for a chase kill way in the back line. The defense after first point has been odd to say the least, and it seems like they're not committing to the plan of an aggressive defense.
No doubt about it, but we do have the Dragon Blade coming out here from Hollywood Hammers and the self-destruct from Snizzle. This has been a banner map so far for Divas. Both Divas getting their licks in here. Of course, Snizzle has been on Diva the entire time, but hey, work was working out for Node, and Snizzle wanted to get in on it himself.
Well, this is an interesting change here. They're going to actually run a Sombra here on last. They only need to hold one more time as we are now below 60 seconds on the clock for the closeout. So Fisher very likely looking to just get an early kill, maybe trying to deny some of these packs. Well, obviously trying to deny some of the packs. Wonder what his primary target is going to be, though. He's just going for harassing the supports for the moment.
I think for him, he would just like to build up an EMP to seal this last fight. He can build it up. It builds up very quickly. However, Snizzle went to Soldier, ends up dying, and here comes the Blade out from Jaro. Diving into the back line, has one here so far, and Toronto eSports is building critical momentum now to finishing out this map. 28 seconds remain, and they're in a very good spot here, Max.
Look, EMP builds fast, but you weren't going to have it before that fight started. You will have it now, so now it's time to delay EMP and start turning the kill feed blue. You absolutely have to do it. A self-destruct will come out. Another 2 from self-destruct!
Oh, take note of note here. The self-destructs coming in. Very consistent at the expense of Hammers. And they are not going to be able to get out to stall that out any longer. 4 seconds remaining here for Toronto eSports. And I think the interesting thing to me, Hex, is that when we watched Toronto eSports in the previous round, we saw very heavy contribution from both Cynic and Jaro. And it's not like they disappeared here, but no. What they were able to do with the self-destructs there was great for breaking down Hammers in point after point.
I just am very confused by the Fisher switch to Sombra at the end there. It's under a minute, and it is of any of the ults in the game, I agree. It charges extremely fast. I understand what he's trying to do. He was trying to pressure the back line with that Sombra too, but the thing is he got off Genji, and his Genji'd been good at pressuring the back line already. It's not necessarily a mistake, just something to keep in mind. Notable that when you're making that switch towards the end, because this fight was going to start before he had EMP. You saw EMP. EMP came down when 4 people were dead. It had 0 impact in that fight.
The problem with EMP is that as good as it is, if you don't have at least somewhat similar numbers that come in and take advantage of it, while it might delay a team a little bit, you're not going to get the kills off of it that you want. So EMP is much better used as something when you have other people alive, even better if they have ultimates that can be used that are really good when shields aren't in play.
Right.
But EMP in that situation, when it's desperation, obviously he would have liked to have done the EMP in a better situation, but I don't know. He didn't have much of a choice but to use it there, but you are right in that he didn't really have as much time as he would have liked to get the ability to use it in an even situation.
Yeah, I mean, it was close. Maybe one more pack, and he has the NP before that fight starts. I just think it's such a gamble that maybe you don't need to take there at the end. Anyway, it's an interesting play. We'll have to keep that in mind going forward. Hollywood Hammers now will switch on to the other side of the field. They will be on the attacking side of things. Toronto eSports looks like they want to play this one a little bit closer to aggressive. They are running the dive defense, as it were. And, of course, we see a lot of Widow on this map. Nesh is going to open up with Widow on the offense.
For Nesh, this is part insurance against really aggressive dive and part the idea that if you can get the early pickoff, you can really snowball early. And now, Nesh looking for targets. The Widowmaker being here isn't exactly secret at this point, and he will get under pressure early on. The Diva right in his face, Jaro grabbing Chaz, and really the Widow struggling to get a lot done early on.
Yeah, D-maxed, but that is just about it. The nice finish on a note, though, once he's out of his mech. The nice kills, though, from Jaro. They're getting very aggressive on this defense right now. I think this is kind of what Hammers was thinking about doing at certain points, but it never worked out for them. But it does seem like the clock has now expired on their aggressive window as they've been losing heroes here and there, and that's definitely it as Jaro goes down.
And now we have the swap up coming in from Hammers, of course. Nesh off the Widow, now on the Tracer, going to be the flanking threat in the back. And Hammers not being shy at all about securing the upward position here. You have Tomsy back on the payload. Maybe he can make some tweets while he's back there, who knows. But the rest of the action is going up in front, but perhaps a little bit aggressive. Going in here, Hammers getting caught with their pants down in Toronto, coming back out in force and reestablishing control on that first point area.
Yeah, just absolutely crushed. I like that they're being aggressive. When they see this window, they go in, they get the one kill, and then they try to roll it down into a couple. Now defense in a great position. This is exactly where you want your Soldier 76. It seems like a small deal, but that box right there will actually peel for you a lot of the time, will block a lot of the damage. It's Soldier's best friend up there.
Well, Note has plenty of room up here, and oh man, Shaz getting taken down relatively earlier by God, Jaro diving in as well, and the flankers from Toronto eSports out for blood, just deep diving in the Hammers before they can even start their attack, and it's certainly effective. 4 kills to 0. Hammers once again stuck. Going back to reset, and I would say a bigger problem here, Hex, is that not only has Hammers been losing these last few fights, but they haven't been really generating ultimate as they've been losing it either. They have very little tools available into this next fight. Maybe they build up the Transcendence midway through, but it's going to be tough.
Yeah, they really have to find something here that can bring them back into it right now, to maybe get a couple of combos going. Something needs to shut down Jaro. The dive does come in over top. So far, it has been bloodless. The Transcendence is forced out, though. Nesh is going to try to wait this out as a Zenyatta's duel.
Both Zenyatta's experiencing spiritual enlightenment, but here comes a Dragon Blade out from Jaro, supported by the sound barrier, looking for blood in the backline. Doesn't quite get it, chased off by Christopher, but it's still enough to dash into Tomsy towards the end. And Toronto effectively pushing back Hammers here once more. Hammers is still fighting this out, but they are bleeding people left and right. Nesh left all on his lonesome here.
It's been a very impressive defense for this team, as every time that they see a little bit of a window, they just flip the switch. The bloodlust starts flowing, and they go after it and get these kills. And it's been a sloppy entry a lot of the time here, too. And right there, Nesh going down right there means that they can't even fight yet again. We're now below 1 minute left in it, and they got to find something here to bring it back. And they're going to have ults. Can Fisher find something? Can Snizzle find a self-destruct? We've seen how good self-destructs have been today.
It's been a banner day for self-destructs, but this is still a rough area to get it. However, Fisher dies immediately, discorded and breaking down right away. So for Hammers, now they're going to have to run in with about the last 15 seconds left. Could be the final fight of the map. They will have Dragon Blade up, so I personally want to see how Fisher sets this up and moves in.
It is going to be the most important part of the fights here, and Fisher's going to have to find something to work with. And it's going to be a miracle. He's going to have to find it. They look like they want to try the dive. They do go up in the corner. Diva's up there first.
Fisher diving right to the back line. He is behind the gate looking for targets. Gets one of the supports. Nesh takes out Jaro. So it's 2 kills here from the offense. 4-4 as Hammers on their last gasp trying to pull this one in. It's Fisher doing more work in the back. Ends up with 3 before it's all said and done. He was the one who needed to bring this through, but it's Cynic keeping things alive for Toronto. Respawns will be in soon. Hammers does not have this here just yet.
Does a good job of dancing around and staying alive even after getting those initial kills. He has such great presence around the cart. Does Cynic able to use it to bloody platform, and that's going to buy time for people to come in. And now Jaru's got the blade. Dash resets, 4 kills. They look to lock it out.
Jaru with the run back here from Toronto. Hammers just not able to push it in as much as they would have liked, and it's been a strong day for Toronto eSports. They're going to take map 1 over the European powerhouse in Hollywood Hammers.
They look great, and this is a Toronto eSports team that every time I watch them, I see something new about them, opening my eyes in a lot of different ways. It is still some of the 2 players that we mentioned earlier, but I think Note also had a good game. Hollywood, you know, I hate to try to jump into the mind and the feel of a team, but you have to imagine they're just tuckered out. And some of the play looked a little bit sloppy. Some of the decisions made could be cause for fatigue, so I will give them the benefit of the doubt on some of this. But this guy has been a revelation. Jaru has been crushing for everything we've been watching him from today.
Jaru has been remarkably consistent, and it's not just a mid-level consistency, it's been a high-level consistency where when Toronto eSports needs someone to come in and have a big moment, have a big play, and bring back a fight that otherwise could have snowballed into something bad, Jaru has been the man that they turn to pull things back.
Well, and on Genji, which we've already seen